What's up, everybody? I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everybody.
And do we have a show for you guys today? Welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. All right, y'all. Josh, I ain't even going front with you. I came into this booth to fight you today. And I'm here to argue with you.
Again?
Yeah. And you want to know why? You want to know why?
Right.
Because apparently everybody and their mamas is now starting to praise the Flash movie. We've got multiple people who came out. We got Tom Cruise going to David Zaslav's phone personally, calling him up in the middle of the night. Hey, yo, the Flash movie crazy. This is the movie we need right now.
Yeah.
Then you also got, who else was it? James Gunn, who was over here saying that it's one of the best superhero movies he's ever laid his eyes on. David Zaslav praising it. Now, recently we also heard that Jaden Smith himself has seen it, and the Flash movie apparently changed his life, he says. He says the Flash movie is a wow. Also comes down to Stephen King saying that he got an advanced screening, and he tweeted this out. He said, I got an advanced screening of The Flash today. As a rule, I don't care a lot of for superhero movies, but this one is special. It's heartfelt, funny, and eye-popping. I love it.
That's funny.
And now, not only is Stephen King saying something, but also Al Roker himself. And Al Roker, he's just a NBC host. He works on a TV show. And he says, not going to spoil anything other than hashtag The Flash is so good. Got to see it this afternoon with some friends at the Today Show, and we all loved it. So he works on the Today Show. Look, man, we're getting all these praises from different corners, all right? Now, some people might say, I'm sure you might say, that this is pure hype.
Mm-hmm.
People love this movie. How can you say no to all these big names coming out and, saying they love superhero movies?
Yeah.
And this is coming off of Stephen King, especially Stephen King's tweet. He even said, too, as a rule of thumb, he don't like superhero movies. He was one of them that hates Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But he's saying that The Flash is so good. Heartfelt, eye-popping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
Man, I think it's funny. It's funny because of all these random people, coming out and saying it's great. You know what I mean? And I think I want to say it's all hype. I want to get behind the hype train. This sounds like full steam ahead for the Flash to end up being successful. Hopefully.
Well, if you're like me, if anybody's out there like me, we don't believe the words of no industry plants. All right, we don't believe the words of people that are paid to do this, basically keep friends within the industry. Mm-hmm. Now, here's my thing. If it was just filmmakers coming out and saying that, hey, like, this movie's really good or whatever, but now we got actors. We got Jaden Smith, who's not an actor anymore, but, a fashion model, all that stuff, musician, does all that crazy stuff. Al Roker, who's just a TV show host. So we did get word that, it did play at Cannes, and, this movie's been making its rounds for a couple of weeks because basically they, when very explicit way to put it, but when somebody's walking around and they're like, they just feel like they got a big one, you know what I mean? They just walking around lugging their big old thing around, and they just can't keep it in their pants. They just want to, be like, hey, look how big it is. You know what I'm saying? So now a lot of people are praising this review, and I found a couple more reviews kind of like this, but a lot of people are saying like the real reviews are starting to come out, that this isn't just all industry hype, that a lot of people are actually, being honest, at least the people on the ground. So we got this tweet coming in saying that hashtag The Flash is a thing, ? It has some serious pacing issues that cannot be ignored, and it leans into fan service too much. It has some good moments, but it can't escape the years of buildup. It's another mid-tier DC movie that should have been better. Hashtag the Flash movie. Hashtag CinemaCon. So, and that's just one that I'm reading. Like I said, I've seen a couple more. What I don't want to do is bring down the hype for a movie. You know, when all these industry people are coming up and saying it. But I like to be in reality, and I like to hear both sides of the aisle. And you know me, from the trailers, this movie ain't really pulling me in, at least CGI-wise. You know what I mean? Story-wise, I'm sure that there's still a lot that they're holding back and not letting you know. But I don't know. What do you think about that tweet? What do you think about somebody calling it another mid-tier DC movie that should have been better?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't. Everyone's gonna have their opinion, you know. Even with the what do you call them, industry plants. Everyone's gonna have an opinion, right? Whether they're paid or not, that's up to them. You know, the only person I think actually gets paid for hyping up shit is Soups. You know what I mean? I think he's probably the only one, and I don't think I've heard him on the hype train for the Flash either.
Yeah, he I think when he first seen it at CinemaCon, he came out and like, oh my god, guys.
Promoted it.
Yeah, it's the best movie
quote unquote
out there.
promoted. I don't know.
You're
man.
gonna want to see it on the big screen.
Some of these tweets can just be harsh. It was like, I don't know. Until I see it for myself, both sides are valid. If that makes sense.
Fair. I give you that. It's more the critics that are the ones that are obviously gonna be the ones that are nitpicking, right? While other filmmakers can see the vision, see what they were trying to go for, and can really say, "Hey, this is great because I know what you were looking for." You know what I mean? They won't say that it didn't get there. They'll just say, "Hey, I see what he did." I don't know, man. For me, I don't know if I'm just immovable with this Flash movie. I don't know what it is, but nothing is teetering me. Even hearing all this hype isn't even teetering me. If anything, it's scaring me more, because why would you feel the need to have all these people come out and hype up your movie before it actually comes out? Now, it could have been like an Indiana Jones and everybody could have shit on it. You know what I mean? We did talk about it in the last episode, and, you know, Indiana Jones showed up at the Cannes Festival and, well, very abysmal.
That was not doing too hot.
So, I mean, it could have been like that, and people could be shitting on it, but not a lot of people are shitting on it. But we're not hearing a lot of reviews either. We're hearing some reviews from a lot of well-known people that, you know, that do this for a living. You know what I mean? That they're supposed to basically hype up this movie. From every angle that I see it, all of the critics that give it, like, bad stuff is normal moviegoers, I guess you can say. People that made it to CinemaCon, able to sit there and actually had an honest opinion, if that makes sense. Whereas you have all these higher ups, like Tom Cruise getting a copy of the Flash film and being like, this is what we need right now. First of all, how'd that even land on your lap? Did you just ask for a copy? Did David Zaslav say, oh, this thing is so big, I gotta just show somebody, and he showed it to Tom Cruise? Like, these are the things that pop up into my mind that I'm just like, Jaden Smith too. When did you see it? Did you just get an invite? Did somebody just say, hey, come watch the Flash movie? And you know what I mean? It just seems suspicious. Something seems suspicious. Something seems up.
What do you mean suspicious, man? That my God, I have like shit. But suspicious how? Just famous people see movies ahead of time all the time.
Yeah, but how often do you hear them praise it like this? How often do you hear Tom Cruise hyping up a movie that isn't his? How often do you hear?
Happens.
How often? When was the last time you heard Jaden Smith speak about anything movie related? Not ever since After Earth.
I don't listen to Jaden Smith.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I didn't even know he said anything about it. So you brought it up.
Yeah,
Why would I give a fuck about what he says?
Oh,
like in general.
Oh, okay. Well, he's like, a notable person.
The only one that sounds sketchy to me is Stephen King, because I seen that tweet too, and I was like, damn, they got him. They got him on the train too. So like, I see where you're coming from, and that all this could be like
manufactured hype.
Could be orchestrated, you know, whatever. But I don't know. Both sides of the aisle, you know, critics are gonna critic, and you know, critics are usually harsh. You know what I mean? Regardless of, you know, whether it's a scary movie or regular movie, whatever the fuck. They're gonna be like, this shit is ass because it didn't follow the great plan or whatever the fuck.
So, and you said it yourself right now. You said critics give honest opinions because they don't owe the studio anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't owe anything to them. But then you got people like Tom Cruise who could be making a deal with Zaslav. You know, your franchise is coming to an end. We're gonna need some people over here. You hype up the Flash. We give you a little something. You know what I mean? Same
that's
thing.
That's a bit extreme.
I mean, Jaden Smith. A lot of people have been saying that, you know, he might fit a good Static Shock. Maybe he's talked to Zaslav and, hey, you hype up this movie, there might be a role for you in the upcoming DC.
Where are you pulling out these theories?
I'm just saying that DC's gonna be dipping into some horror movies too.
Man, you've been on Reddit. You've been on Reddit too much.
Hold on.
Theories, bro.
Look, I got fucking
all
strings everywhere. I already know what's going on. I'm telling you. It's Stephen King out of everybody. Look, DC's gonna be dipping into some horror pretty soon. They might need a horror icon to sign on pretty soon to direct, produce, be able to slap a name on there, give it a little more oomph, but actually have somebody dip into the superhero genre that actually said he didn't like it, get on the hype train with all that. I don't know, man. It looks. I'm telling you, dude, it's a conspiracy.
No, man.
The Flash Gate is real, man.
You're doing all this like jumping around to just say that the movie's gonna do decent. It is tracking good numbers right now for its opening weekend.
Yeah, it's looking to do better than at least Guardians of the Galaxy. That's good. I mean, to be honest, I think they said it's tracking to do 120 to 140 million domestic. I would have thought it would have been higher with all the hype going on. You know, Tom Cruise coming out, I would have thought 200 mil easily 200 mil out the opening gate domestically. Because all this hype, you would assume. I digress.
Who knows? Box office numbers and the climate on comic book movies, it is what it is. But a lot of it, a few things can sound manufactured. And again, critics are going to critic. It's their fucking job to hate on movies.
It's not their job to hate on movies. Their job is to give honest opinions about the movies like we are. Unbiased, unhindered.
Well, no, when we see it, we're unbiased and we judge it on our own merits. They have a whole system they have to abide by to be like, this movie is fucking, you know what I mean?
What do you mean a whole system? Like they gotta
they gotta check boxes and shit. Yeah.
Well, they gotta check. That's with everybody. We're technically critiquing movies because we gotta check boxes on the movies that we.
Yeah, but theirs is like official. If that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, if we're putting it out there, we're making it official for us at least. But you have your boxes that make a good movie, right? That check your boxes can be totally different from my boxes. But the boxes of a movie star who's hyping up a movie that, let's be honest, they have no business hyping up, nor are they around at the time. And I don't know, man. It just seems suspect, and I'm gonna hold it down right there because something ain't right with this Flash movie. Something ain't right with all this generated hype that's happening. I don't believe.
Nah,
this.
Man. You just want it to fail so you can be right.
I'm just saying too. The algorithm playing too because I see these bad reviews, but nobody's talking about the bad reviews. Everybody talking about the good reviews. The good reviews coming in. Oh, Stephen King coming up to the top. Oh. The Flash is 10 out of 10, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nah. Come on. You seen the track record for DC? You're going to think that this movie's going to be 10 out of 10? 8 out of 10 at best. Watch. I give it to you. It probably is going to be a decent movie. It might be a decent watch. I might have some fun. I might have some bumps in the road, but 10 out of 10? People saying that this is one of the best superhero movies ever? The Flash? That took almost 9 years to put out, bro. No, I don't know, man. I don't think so. I would think the one that I read, and that's only the one that like sounds more like she was trying to actually give the movie a chance, and because of the way that it was made, like she was like, no, it could have been done a little bit better. That's the only reason why I picked that tweet. The other ones were more just jabbing at Ezra or whatever, and blah blah blah. Michael Keaton being kind of like I think they said Michael Keaton in one of the one of the other tweets said Michael Keaton is like one of those, you know, when you get a toy and they just have catchphrases on there when you push a button.
Yeah.
That Michael Keaton's basically like that, just full of catchphrases throughout the whole movie. So I don't know. There's some mean tweets out there, so it's weird. This one was the most professional in my opinion. That kind of got the point across that everybody else was basically saying. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're still on the hype train. I'm still on the fence. Well, if I got to see that train by train, and I'll just watch it over here. You can have the hype train with Tom Cruise. You can have it with Al Roker if you want to. You can have it with Stephen King as well. Not me. Not with Michael Keaton's Batman. I don't think so. If it was Ben Affleck's Batman, it'd be a different story.
He's in the movie
for 5 minutes. He says
he's exaggerating.
He's exaggerating. Okay, 6 minutes.
He's gonna be in it for longer than that. I'm pretty sure.
Like I said, wait and see. But one movie that's making waves and making its rounds right now is Dead Reckoning. Right? It's gonna be coming out pretty soon. I think in July it should be releasing. No, end of June 28th or something like that. It should be releasing. So it's in about a month. It's going to be coming out. We've seen snippets of that insane stunt that he's going to be, Tom Cruise is going to be doing. We've heard about the rigorous test stunts, everything that he had to do for this movie. Tom Cruise is being praised in and out of this movie. But one person that's getting more praises than him, especially from the director himself, Christopher McQuarrie, is Palm Clementif. Now she's, I hope I don't butcher her name because she's a French actress, so her name's pronounced different. So if I did, my bad. Let me know. I'll correct it later. But apparently, and according to this quote, she gives a performance, and not just any performance, a performance better than she's given even in Guardians of the Galaxy, the movies that she started with. Now, this is his quote. He says, "I dare you to go to this movie and try not to look at Palm. More than any other actor I've worked with, you cannot take your eyes off her. She's completely compelling, completely dynamic. It was quite amazing. It changed the way I designed shot. It changed the way I wrote scenes. It changed the way we dressed the character. It's just raw power that's unrecognizable from Mantis in Guardians."
Interesting. Okay, that sounds cool. I think Mantis did not give this actress her full flowers, if that makes any sense. That character kind of, I think she got the Drax treatment, with Dave Bautista. Just this character just wasn't
Goofy.
It wasn't good for her image, if that makes any sense.
I haven't seen Volume 3, but I know in Volume 2, her and Drax really bounced off each other comedy-wise, right? Even in Infinity War 2, like, they really bounced off each other comedy-wise.
But yeah, but, that's just them kind of being goofy. But I think if this is the case, then great, but we haven't, or at least I haven't seen anything from her other than Mantis.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say that, if that makes any sense. But if this is the movie where her chops are really coming together, then great. But I haven't seen anything else with her.
Well,
to be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, to be fair, too. I mean, and this is why I kind of brought it up because, he did make it a point to say that, she doesn't show that kind of a performance in the Guardians movies, right? And it's true because the Guardians movies are very hindered, right? Not because of the Marvel formula, right? And then on top of that, you have a director, and this is not shitting on James Gunn. I'm not shitting on him. But you have a director that wants to make use of goofiness, most of the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we talked about this before where, I feel like he takes a lot of serious moments and washes it down with comedy. And you could really see that in Volume 2, at least. Like I said, I haven't seen Volume 3, so I can't judge her off that one. I know that in the trailer she was crying and, and all that. So she might give a powerful performance in this one. But if McQuarrie, who's worked with Tom Cruise, praised Tom Cruise multiple times, said that he is one of the best actors, one of the best stuntmen in the industry right now, where, he does everything all at once and comes off that ship just to give props to Palm Clementif. Yeah. It has to be, I would say that's real hype. and from the trailer that we seen yesterday, or not yesterday, on the last episode, um, I she seems like she's gonna be a compelling character. She looks like she's gonna be like this assassin mime. Like she's gonna give most of her performance through like movement and facial expressions, not really talking.
Oh yeah, and you know some actresses can pull that off. Others can't. I'm not gonna name names.
I kind of want you to name names because I don't know what you're talking about.
She was in John Wick 2.
John Wick 2.
She kind of just stood around till her action scene came through.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I don't want to name names.
The deaf girl, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, well, you're right. You know, like it's very torn because you can totally take his word for it and understand that she will do good.
Mm.
It's just for me to wrap my head around that. I'd have to have seen other things, but I'm willing to be open to the fact that she does a really great performance. The trailer did look really good,
yeah,
and seeing her was really fucking cool, But again, just to come full circle, I think for me to understand that, I'd really have to see this fucking movie to be like, okay, yeah, she's gonna be something great, because I don't get that from Mantis, like she's been in, well, she came in Guardians 2, she was in Infinity War, well, she wasn't really in Endgame. And then, the holiday special was probably the closest thing we got from an emotional performance out of her in Mantis's little role. When she was hugging Star-Lord or whatever, because I guess they're related or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is, and however you feel about that plot line. But, I think I just have to see more with her.
You watched Uncut Gems, right?
Yeah.
You remember her in there?
I do not. She was in there?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
I remember seeing her in Ingrid Goes West, but I think that was one of her, like, that has to be an older role, because she was an old boy. She's been in a few big name movies, but not a lot. But
not as prominent as this one.
No, not like well,
If she ends up having the same career as Dave Bautista, and she comes out of the Guardians movies fucking like nailing roles, perfect.
Yeah.
Give props to James Gunn in that aspect. He really knows how to take a actor and put him in a different direction.
Yeah, and it's good because you see a lot of these and I don't want to shit on him because I actually like him, but like RDJ, yeah, he Iron Man is his role, but like outside of Iron Man, it's been kind of dry. You know what I mean? Like I know with Dr. Dolittle, it didn't really do too well. Now we're gonna see him in Oppenheimer, coming up. You said that he has a potential to come into Fast X Part 2. Vin Diesel kind of wants him as well. So like his kind of acting hasn't really been around as much. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Chris Evans, he jumped from Marvel to regular, outside movies and still do good. I think the only one that people didn't like him in was The Gray Man or something. I think people just didn't like that movie in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of these actors, they struggle, to find their footing outside of their established franchises. You know what I mean? That we talked about, The Rock potentially coming back. We haven't seen Fast X yet, but we talked about The Rock potentially coming back. And, the other day we talked about how like Freaky Friday, you could really fall back on your franchise. You know what I mean? Once you're in a franchise, you can kind of fall back on it. So it really, in my opinion, really stops actors from taking a chance on other roles. You know what I mean? Because they know that they could fall back on that. They know that they're going to have a job there for a while. Whereas, you have people like Dave Bautista who are like really adamant on wanting to hone their acting skills. You know what I mean? Like he wants to not just be known as this wrestling actor. He wants to be known as one of the great actors. And you can see from the roles that he picks, he's very, picky on which ones he's going to take. You don't just see him in everything like you did The Rock or, for like the longest time you saw The Rock in everything, right? He wasn't picky with his roles. He just wanted to, keep
face
pumping.
Was just everywhere.
Exactly. So I think it's smart that she hasn't done a lot of movies, and I think it's smart when they take their time, be like, yes, I want to go there. No, I don't want to go there. Yeah, I'll go over there. Like, actually be picky with your roles. Don't be a Nick Cage and just go all over the place, you know?
Jesus. But yeah, no, I think that all comes down to, just job security, Oh, you want me to do how many movies? And you'll pay me how much? Shit, sign me up type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's good.
Like, I'm not shitting on their formula. It's just, RDJ has had, before he left Iron Man, when he was doing other movies like the Lawyer or whatever, and then a couple other ones.
But not a lot of people saw that one.
Which really good RDJ movie if you guys haven't seen that one. But like there's a bunch of movies like that fly under the radar with these actors who are in the MCU. It's just when their time is up at the MCU, it's sink or swim at that point because now you can run back to the ship, but people are expecting you to move on. Especially if that ship kind of closed your story.
Yes, fair. Especially, because at that point you're free reign now, right? If you're out of the MCU, you don't have to. That's the thing. When you're in the franchise, that means you're hot. That means people are gonna look at you and be like, "Well, he's the hot ticket in that movie, whoever it may be. We want him in our movie." You know what I mean? We want him over here. So that's what's gonna get your name out there. You're not gonna get a lot of actors. You're not gonna get a lot of people to call you. Unless you're a really good actor, to come do this movie, and you're not in, you know what I mean, and you're basically irrelevant, you know what I mean? Like you're not even in a movie, you're not doing any tour rounds, you're not doing nothing. Like nobody knows or remembers you right now. People are thinking about the next hot thing, which is, Dave Bautista or whoever,
Which is it comes down to it because again, a lot of other actors that came from the MCU. The most basic one running around right now is Tom Holland, right? He's trying to make a name for himself outside of Spider-Man. But for some reason, it's not working.
He's too young.
It's, because I think the one he did with Robert Pattinson, that movie for Netflix, I think that one I heard did really good. And then, the one with Daisy Ridley, that one probably didn't do too hot from what I heard. And then he's supposed to be in another Apple TV show. I forget what it's called, but I'll get back to you on the title. But he's supposed to be on an Apple TV show.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. He has like long hair or something.
Yeah,
right?
And what do you call it? Like that trailer, I saw it and I was like, this. Like I feel like he's trying, and I feel like he's really just trying to get roles and get his name out there. But for some reason, he's just not sticking like people want him to.
And I fairly believe it's because he's young. I think it's just, he has that charisma. He reminds me of like how Brad Pitt was when he was younger. If you really think about it, and the thing about Brad Pitt is that when he was younger, he still looked older. If that makes sense, he always looked distinguishable. He looked like, you know what I mean. Even though he was young, he still looked fit to be like, maybe late 20s, early 30s type shit if he wanted to play that role.
Like how Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are, kind of.
Yeah, basically. And Tom Holland, he's very young, he looks very teen still, you know what I mean? And, he's trying to go for these roles. Like when he went for Nathan Drake in Uncharted, though it was a good role and, he probably would have been perfect for it, he just needed to get older and be more distinguishable, you know what I mean? Yeah, and it would have been different.
Because I mean, when I think of Nathan Drake, I think of someone close to their fucking 30s, almost 40s maybe. I think that's kind of what the movies are set on,
Yeah, and
or the games, I mean.
Yeah, and Sully's supposed to be like an older man.
Exactly.
And they got a younger guy to fit with Tom Holland, and that's where things get wonky because now you're trying to wrap this movie around a young person. When you could have gotten somebody who's more distinguishable, looks older. I thought Mark Wahlberg was gonna play Nathan Drake. You know what I mean?
That would have been a smarter decision.
Well, Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg too, but like,
no, you know what I mean? Like that would have made
made more sense in the long run. Yes, if the movie failed, I would have been like, at least they tried. You know what I mean? But with Tom Holland, it kind of seemed like they were just looking for the hottest ticket, and they were like, well,
he's Spider-Man.
I mean, if he could swing off a web, he could do a vine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's but it's great. Palm, I don't want to say her name again, but Palm coming out in Dead Reckoning Part 1. Who knows if she'll make it a Part 2? we'll have to wait and see with that one.
She just fucking dies. Her character just dies. That'd be fucking crazy.
That'd be great. Praising her for like the best performance she gives, and then at the end of the movie,
Kills her off. She's like, that was it. It was really good. You're not coming for the next one, though.
Right. But moving on, though, one thing that honestly is really cool, is probably really cool for you. So we did hear that Creed 3 was getting an anime, but we're hearing that the first people that are getting a taste of that anime
What?
is over there, overseas, in Japan.
What the fuck?
So Michael B. Jordan wound up going to Instagram, wound up captioning, "Hi Japan, we made a special anime as a surprise for Japanese fans that will play at the end of the film. Creed 3 opens in theaters in Japan next week. Get your tickets now to see what it's all about." So Creed 3 is barely opening over there in Japan. It's gonna be opening May 26th. Getting a cool little anime in the back, and you can see kind of the visual right here. Michael B. Jordan kind of concept art right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. What do you think? Are you jealous? Do you want to take a flight to Japan?
Well, I'm not gonna take a flight, but I am jealous. What the fuck? I think I'm sure it'll leak, somewhere online. I'll see it on Twitter after the weekend in Japan when it shows up. But damn, that's crazy. Where's our taste? Where's our trailer? What the fuck? I want to see that. Fucking, like, a lot of sports animes don't get it right, but boxing animes really encapture the essence of fighting and stuff.
I wouldn't know.
It's fucking, like, just to give you an idea, right? So think about what you saw in Creed. A lot of that was there was megalo boxing. You can see that sort of thing, and then there was another famous one that I forget the title of. And then, the obvious references to, like, Dragon Ball Z or whatever the fuck. But, man, something about the idea. I'm sure it's to capture him and, still give Creed fights and stuff in a different way. Carry on the story in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
Because, he's obviously getting too old for this role.
Yeah,
so,
obviously.
it's fine. But, man, to think about his boxing anime and then, the spin-offs coming out of it, like, that's fucking cool. Like, you never really see that. It's good for him to be dipping his toe in this way.
Yeah, and especially going the anime route, not a lot of people want to do that. A lot of people usually, it's good that he's a fan of it, and you did see a lot of influence in the Creed movie as well. So, it's good. Everything sounds perfect. I'm sure we're going to get that snippet at the end, and we'll probably judge it and see what the final product actually looks like. Whatever it looks like is probably what we're going to get with that anime when it comes out.
Well, yeah, most likely. Unless this is just like a teaser, and then, they change it up however fans react or whatnot. But that's cool. I like the idea of this. I'm running with it so far.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, can't wait to see that as well. Nobody in Japan, or if we have Japan listeners, hey, Creed 3 coming to you guys May 26th. Moving on, though, we also got an exclusive from Giant Freaking Robot saying that Bullet Train 2 is happening. Brad Pitt is coming back. Sandra Bullock is returning as well. And that Margot Robbie might be in talks to come in for the sequel. Now, did this movie need a sequel? No, I don't think so. I think it kind of ended good. I kind of felt like it could have been left alone, but in a world of sequels and all that, I guess it needs to happen. What are they going to do? Get on another bullet train? Is that what's going to happen? I would have preferred that spin-off with Tangerine and Lemon. That would have been nice. But, if we get... Or maybe, a Bad Bunny spin-off of The Wolf. I don't know. What do you think?
Why the fuck would I want... Yeah, no. Bullet Train 2 sound like... I'm sure it sounds fine on paper. But executing it differently, unless they try to recapture what they did with the first one, and it's like it's a different situation and stuff, and you got different assassins, and they keep that whole tone where they show the story of each assassin, and how they got to that train. That'd be nice. But we don't need this movie. We don't need this moon. Sony, you could have kept this one in the vault, dog. We don't need it. A Tangerine and Lemon would have set you guys up so fucking far. That movie would have fucking blown.
They already got Aaron Taylor Johnson over there.
Yeah, doing Craven. What the fuck? Just stick them in another suit, goddammit. People love that combination so much. I feel like life would have been better if we got a Tangerine and Lemon spinoff instead. I don't know if I'm excited for this.
I mean, I'm excited for it because I thought the action, and I liked Brad Pitt in the first one, even though, to be honest, he was more of this like hippie, just laid back kind of dude, and he was supposed to be an assassin. So I really liked the way that he was in there. Sandra Bullock at the end of the movie, I mean, does she really need to come back? But I guess she's the the girl in the chair.
Yeah, she's his handler.
Yeah,
the fuck
exactly. So it makes sense. Margot Robbie in talks for it. I mean, if she's the main villain, I'm up for it. But if she's just one of those side ones that are just gonna get thrown away, yeah, like Bad Bunny and who was it? Tessa Thompson too. When she came out for a second, I was like, damn, like you guys just kind of wasted the actor. You know what I mean? Tessa Thompson could have gave a good performance, but she just got killed.
Yeah, and it's gonna suck without Tangerine and Lemon. Who are they gonna get? Like, you know what I mean? Like how is that dynamic gonna work? I feel like we won't be, us not seeing them in a sequel is gonna like kind of ruin the movie. You know what I mean?
I mean,
does that make any sense? Am I making sense?
I'm sure we'll see Tangerine.
Yeah, but without Tangerine and Lemon, they don't exist. Like how their dynamic was one of the things in the movie that people like so much. Like, what are they gonna do to replace them in a sequel? That's my thing.
They couldn't get I don't think doubling down is the right move to do. We don't want a carbon copy of what they had before. We don't want a Tangerine and Lemon ripoff. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say double down and do the same thing. Maybe instead of getting playful twins, if they are gonna try to get another twin dynamic off of it, maybe a serious twin dynamic where it comes off funny, but it's supposed to be serious. You know what I mean? Like they just, you know what I mean? A little goofy thing. Like don't actually bounce off each other the way that they did. They would have to completely change it. Because if it's just a carbon copy, there's no point. I'd rather keep Bullet Train 2 over there. It's just another thing. And, how are you going to follow up the villain that is Michael Shannon? I'm sorry. He's just a presence at the end of, everything. Seeing him at the end, even to the way that he went out, like, I just always think that he's one of those that it's a tough act to follow. Because Michael Shannon actually gives hella performance.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, no. This movie has a lot of weight, if that makes any sense. Like it has to do better than its predecessor in all aspects. Comedy, the action has to be a little better, the villain has to be fucking amazing, and the way they connected everybody with like yarn with and making them connected to end up on that train was unique. You're telling me someone else is gonna orchestrate that? You know what I mean?
Well, they could, and this is where, continuity is gonna come into play because they're gonna have to make sure that whatever they do with this one, 1, 2, 3, whatever they do in this one has to not copy what they did in the last one. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way that it's gonna have to go. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm vibing with this one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Bullet Train 2, like I said, unnecessary sequel in my eyes. I mean, but in this world, it's necessary.
It's fucking it's so annoying, dude. Because one-off stories hit. This movie would have been fine being a one hit and done. Like, move on to your next project. There's a lot of these movies don't need sequels because the story wraps up fine in the end, bro. You don't have to undo all the first one's work just to push out a sequel. Like
I said, that's what happens in this world of remakes, reboots, and etc. etc. This is what this is what we get to. It's fine. I mean, like I said, if Margot Robbie's in talks, I mean, as a villain, I'd be down for it. We just can't get I want to see a serious villain out of Margot Robbie. I don't want to see a ditzy blonde Barbie Harley Quinn type character. I want to see an actual hard hitting, give us an emotional piece Margot Robbie. You know what I mean? Maybe she gives that in Babylon, but I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that either. I think I see what you mean, but probably not.
You don't think so? You don't think she has it in her?
Well, no. I think she does. I don't think the studio will give that to her.
They're just like, you're the ditzy blonde. You're gonna be in this movie.
They're probably gonna do that to her.
That sucks. That actually sucks. You know, because I don't know. I would want to see her chops. You know, kind of like how we were talking with Palm a couple topics ago. Like, it's nice to see what kind of chops people can actually do when put under the microscope.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't get that, or you never see an actor in that, you just kind of think, well, maybe they just don't have it in them.
They're just a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
And it's not until someone comes along, sees their potential, and they decide to pull it out is when someone will come along and be like, hey, this person does really good, and where was it in so-and-so? Who knows? Maybe it's just lack of direction.
Where was it in this movie?
Well, yeah, because, like, a lot of it is lack of direction. You know, some directors don't know how to push their actors into certain scenarios. And not to say that actors can't do it on their own, but, like, how do I put this? If you're an actor and you're supposed to be like an intense scene. If you're acting intense, and then your director is like, "Oh, that's good. Let's move on to the next shot." But you feel like your performance is subpar. The director is still gonna be like, "Nah, let's not ruin tape. That was good." You know what I mean? When a director should be the one to be like, "Nah, let's try it again." And if you feel like you can capture it in this one 10 times harder, go ahead.
Yeah, obviously that'll speak volumes to the director. But I don't know if because I assume every director is pushing to get the most out of any actor that they get, right? Like I don't think I've ever seen. I don't know if a performance directly correlates with the director. I think the director can push as far as they can, but if that's what they get, and they've already taken the take like 10 times, that at the end of that like we're spending millions on this one scene. You know what I mean? We gotta move on. You know what I mean? And if we did our best, the best that we could, fine, let's go. Maybe make up for it in this next scene or something. You know what I mean? But like, I don't think they deliberately just be like, oh yeah, like this is the best, or like that's good enough. Let's go. You know what I mean? Because the director wants themselves to look good. I think it's just more if they pushing the actor too far, just kind of sometimes makes them curl up instead of extend. And so I just think it's just probably just the person to person dynamic.
Well, I don't know, because I still believe it's like you are only good as one. Like, fuck, how do I say this? Because I want to word it to where I sound and I make sense. Like, the best way I can put it is like how I said. If you're an actor and you're in your second take, third take, the first one you kind of laughed or whatever, and then you feel like you got it, or you get it the way the director intended, and then director is just like, hey man, like that was really good, let's move on, and then the actor could just be like, nah, I feel like I can do it like 10 times better than that, and the director would be like, well, nah, like we got that, because I feel like not an actor performance isn't just about what they bring to the table, it's also about the direction. Because you can have a bad director and a decent actor. Mm-hmm. But if you have a bad actor, what do you call it? It's. I feel like that's more of the director's part, being like not pulling them together. You know what I mean?
So you think that there's decent actors with bad directors?
Yeah.
And so you would pin the bad acting on the directors? Then is that what you're?
Well, yeah. Because they're the ones that kind of have to set the tone. Like, hey, this scene, I need you to bawl your fucking eyes out. And if you don't bawl your fucking eyes out, how do you expect the audience to believe that shit? You know what I mean? And then, if say that the person doesn't bawl their fucking eyes out, they get a few tears out. The director's like you said, we're wasting too much fucking money on this shot. We got to move on. That's the best we're going to get. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's all. Well, maybe that's where we disagree, because I firmly believe that's on the actors. I think the director can only push for so much. Because you can try to squeeze as much as you can from the cow, but if the cow ain't giving, you know what I mean? At that point, we just got to move on and, milk the next cow. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only so much juice you can get from it, and if they're refusing to put that juice into it, it is what it is. Now, the director does have a lot of say in handling with the camera, and if it's camera editing, the way the shot looks, the lighting, whatever, blah blah blah, then I probably say maybe they didn't set the tone. But a lot of these actors, and this could be a hot take, a lot of these actors nowadays don't really have the acting chops as the people before did. And I don't think it's their fault. I think it's the fault of the studios because of the fact that they use too much green screen, too much VFX, not enough practical things. Because they give you this green ball, right? They give the actors this green ball that is supposed to be an alien, and they tell you, be sad about it or be upset, and we're just going to put something there later. But, like, this is what it looks like, whatever. And then the actor gets to imagine it. At that point, that's up to the actor to perform that. You know what I mean? And, yeah, the studio probably, says this is cheaper than to go out there and make a practical alien animal that the actor can hold for, like, 2 seconds. But at the end of the day, if you're an actor, you should be able to act like there's something there, right? You should be able to act like whatever. And then a lot of them say, if there's no substance, there's nothing there, how can we act? And that's where at the end of the day, I think that's where, obviously actors have come from the greats, the greatest of the greats. You know what I mean? Like I was watching a couple old movies the other day. Harrison Ford, when he was a young actor, he fucking killed it in Air Force One and all Star Wars, all that. Like because everything was mostly practical. Not a lot of things were fake, and so you can actually interact and give your best performance when things aren't fake.
I think that goes movie to movie. Well, what you're talking about can go movie to movie. You know what I mean? Or I guess what we're talking about, because, like, yeah, it's hard. Like, it's hard seeing the behind the scenes of like a Marvel movie, and it's just them wailing on a green screen or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, since we're opening the conversation, would you say that brings out decent acting chops because they can react to something not real?
Yeah. I think if a performer can give a really good performance wrapped around green screen, I think that makes them one of the better performers, and they can do a lot more when it comes down to, actually getting on set with things where things are more practical. You know what I mean? Like, we'll take Palm, for example. On the Guardians of the Galaxy sets, it was probably mostly all green screen. So maybe she couldn't give that performance because things weren't really so tangible, if that makes sense. You could, there were certain things you have to act. Infinity War. There's a lot of images that, Tom Holland looking around doesn't even know where the fuck he's at and stuff like that because, there's little mountains of rubble that are real, but like the rest of it's all green screen. You know what I mean? Screen. And I think at one point, like they made like a video where like you see Mantis just trampolining in the background, like not even worried where she's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when you get an actor who can act, like there's things around, and like RDJ, he does really good around green screen. I think Chris Evans does decent as well too. I think Chris Evans is one of those. He needs tangible things to give a good performance, but maybe he could prove me wrong one day. Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, I think if you can act in a green screen and give your best performance, I think that you're you're a great actor because you can do both. You could pretend like it's actually there, and if they actually give you something, you can still pull out that same emotion. You know what I mean? Regardless. But like if you can't, if you're like, well, you give a subpar acting, you know what I mean, to green screen, but then you can go ahead when it's tangible, actually believe that it's actually there. That does show what kind of chops you have as an actor.
Interesting.
Do you disagree? You agree?
No, well, like I think it's very, in that case it is it still depends on the director. You know what I mean? Like because, things can be tangible and whatnot. But say, because now I'm just say you're a director, right? You're like, oh, Will Smith is gonna be in my movie, and then boom, day one, right? And then you go to Will and you're like, hey man, like, you're a great actor, let's start with this opening scene. You know your lines. Let's just get this camera rolling, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says his lines and whatnot, and you're just like, you know, and then that's where the direction is. You can't, without the director to be like, hey, this is how you should deliver the line, you can't expect a great performance out of Will Smith, if that makes any sense.
I don't think it's the director's job to tell you, the actor, how to deliver a line. I think if it's on the paper, and, you know, actors should be able to use context and deliver the line appropriately. Yeah, they might need a little help. Be like, and the director might say, in my head, it wasn't like this. It was more like this. They can adjust it and fix it. But at the end of the day, that's the actor's job to portray it the way that it's put on paper.
Well, yeah, but you can't. That's what I'm saying. You can't expect a great actor to give you that great performance without direction. The director still has a hand in that.
Yeah, the director still has a hand in it, but it's the actor who gives the performance. A director can go over there and be like, this is a sad scene. You need to cry. Let's say he says, you need to cry. I need to see tears. I need you to deliver the lines sobbing like you're upset, but not too much where you're not understandable. Okay. And go from there. At that point, whatever he told them to do, that's up to the actor to do it. And they need to, you know, they need to deliver that. If they don't deliver it, at that point, that's on them. If they're hindered because of the fact that things are CGI, then they cannot, you know what I mean? Everybody's imagination is different. I could tell you that if you tell me that there is somebody sitting right there next to you wearing blue pants, red shirt, green hat, long hair, beard, I imagine that dude right there. I can see it in my head. I can imagine it. Your imagination might be different. I might tell you to imagine that, and you could be like, oh, you're a little short. You know what I mean? Like, you could interpret it the way that you see it, or you might not even be able to imagine it at all. And that's where, you know, actors, in my opinion, a good example, and, you know, or a good example and bad example, because I think that it was kind of harsh, but Jessica Alba back in, I think it was 2005's Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, I think the director told her that when she was crying, don't cry so ugly. Cry prettier. And she took it as like, you know, am I good enough? Like, why did he tell me to do it like that? Like, do I cry ugly type shit? Like, she got in her own head about it. Like, she left Hollywood for that reason, she says. And in my opinion, if he told you, you know, to cry prettier, well, you're supposed to be on screen representing, you know, what his vision is. And if he doesn't want to see you fucking, you know, crying and shit, that's not, you know, that's him just giving direction. At that point, it's up to the actor to take it the way that they take it.
Okay.
You understand me?
I'm trying to see where you're coming from. Because, like, I want to keep diving into this, but I know we got other topics. So, can we put a pin in this? Because I'm still having trouble having this conversation, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I kind of want to know. I mean, if we got to cut for time, we can cut a couple topics off. But I mean, and we'll put it on the next episode, guys. But
because I still because that's my thing. Because I'm still on that fence of like you're, because you know you're only as strong as your weakest link or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If the director isn't giving the actors something strong, what do you call it? That's a weak link. The director's the weak link.
I firmly believe that directors can be weak links. I firmly, but you got to understand too, that directors are there to tell you what to do. They're basically like your supervisors. They are going to tell you what to do. They're going to put you here. They're going to do this here. Like I said, a director can be at fault for, you know, bad performances, but their bad performance, the way that they can be responsible for that, camera not being in the right spot, lighting being bad, editing being choppy, and, you know, ruining the performance that was given. You know, there was like in the Suicide Squad, you know, David Ayer says that Jared Leto gave this amazing performance, got edited wrong, chopped up, thrown out, blah blah blah, gave a shitty performance. So you can make an actor's performance look really shitty as a director. You can, but to make it look really good, that's all up to the actor too. You know what I mean? Because a director can make or break a movie, but at the same time, the actor themselves, if you can give a good performance through that, because you even said too, in Fan 4 Stick, well, who was the highlight? Michael B. Jordan. He gave a fantastic, pun intended, a fantastic performance. Through the bullshit, through the editing, he still gave a fantastic performance. He didn't give a shit. That movie was mostly green screen. He still did what he had to do. He came in, knocked it out the park. That's an actor on top of his game who's good at what he's doing, and regardless of anything, he's gonna make it out on top. You know what I mean? Same thing with Jonathan Majors. You know, I know he's going through the thing right now. Quantumanium. Everybody says he was the highlight.
Yeah.
Bad directing, bad writing, bad everything. But he was the one that jumped all the hurdles, did what he had to do, gave the best performance that he could with a little bit of lines, and still knocked it out the park. So I think directors do have a hand in it to an extent. At the end of the day, a performance is only as good as what the actor gives.
Well, yeah, because you hear a lot that that this certain actor shined better in this shitty project, right? But I think at fault, you still look at the director and you're like, well, where the fuck were you when Paul Rudd was not giving this performance we know Paul Rudd can give? For Quantumania's sake. You know what I mean? Like again, take Fantastic. Where was I don't know who directed it. What's his name?
Fantastic? I don't even know.
Yeah, okay. So that dude, what do you call it? I think he came out a few months ago and said that it was his bad for Fantastic, whatever the fuck he said. So he can take the blame. Well, there you go. If you could take the blame as a director,
Josh Trank, that's his name.
If you could take the blame as a director, then cool. But you should have been there to pull your team together. Even if the story is shit, at least you know your actors did great and not just one of them.
Okay, Miles Teller, you didn't think he did a good job?
Not really.
You didn't think he did a good job in that movie?
No.
Don't you think that's on him? But where did he do a good job at?
In Whiplash.
Whiplash, of course. Maverick, right? I'm trying to think of a movie where everybody shines, but maybe one person is like a weak link. I'm trying to give you a good example, but I'm telling you, I see what you mean, and I think I'm inching closer to what I'm trying to see. Where you're coming from, because you're saying that a director can chop up a performance, or you're saying that because of the way that the director tells them, they are not able to grasp that performance.
Well, it's a bit of both, because if you can't lead and direct them to where they need to be in a certain scene, and that's where an actor can fall short.
At the end of the day, I think it's the actor's responsibility. I don't think.
Because a lot of actors will stick to the page and stuff. Like you said with Jonathan Majors, right? A lot of that was improvised. That was him pulling it out of his ass to be above everyone else. While you expect Paul Rudd to just read pages, read his lines in a way that was so fucking stale. You know what I mean?
We just watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. Okay. Mm-hmm. We can agree all the performances were pretty solid.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
We can agree that Paul Rudd kind of went a little too far.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, as great as he was and a highlight he was in the beginning, I will say Paul Rudd was kind of like the weaker link towards the end of the movie because of the way that he kind of diluted him to just be this, maniacal whatever.
He kind of threw his character away toward the end.
Yeah. And I get it because he was possessed, but still, it still made it, I think he went too outlandish, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, maybe the director wanted it a certain way, but this is the way he interpreted it and took it a little too far. But we can all agree that the rest of the cast was really good. Mm-hmm. Even he was really good at one point until, it went sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would be considered the weakest link in that movie.
Yeah.
Towards the end. But,
point, that's him as an actor.
That's him as an actor. And I think that's what I think that proves my point pretty well, is that at the end of the day, it's you as an actor who interprets these lines and gives the performance that they believe is for it. Now, the director will guide you, but at one point, the director has to say, well, he's not getting it. This is as close as we can get. We got to move on.
See? And we're back to what I said.
Because I'm telling you,
what do you call it?
Directors have to think for the company too. They can try to get this performance, and they can try to tell you as many times. But if the actor doesn't pick it up, it's the actor's. That's the actor now. That's not the director. The director can only shoot it so many ways to try to make you look better. And there's times where there's performances that are kind of bad, and the director goes back over there, goes to the editing table, edits it, and it comes out looking good. So you can edit it to make it look better as a director, but you can. The performance is only as good as bad as the actor makes it. You can only put that on the actor. There's movies out there where you said yourself, this actor carried the movie. Why did he carry the movie? Because the movie was already, the direction was already bad from the director, and we can admit that. But still, the actor still shined through all that adversity, through all the hurdles, still shined at the end of that movie and was crowned champion and said, hey, this is the reason why the movie was good. I only watch it for this reason. This actor knows what he's doing. And then he gets picked up for the next movie. And what happens to the rest of the actors? They fade away. But what happens to the director? The director still gets another movie down the line. Because they, at the end of the day, the performance is only as good as the actors give. Mic drop. Bing.
No.
I see Josh Tank still directing movies. I seen Miles Teller take a hiatus for a while until he got back on the horse with Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, wasn't he in War Dogs before that?
He was in War Dogs, but that was after or before, or War Dogs was before Fan Four Stick.
Was it?
Yeah, I think.
I don't think so.
No, after.
I think it came after.
Oh.
But okay.
Sue Storm in that movie. Where's she at? We haven't seen her. What about the Thing?
I don't know her name. That's not fair.
The character that plays the Thing. Where's he at?
I think I've seen him in a couple other things.
I seen him on TV.
Could have sworn I've seen him in another movie.
I think he was in like CIS or something.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think actors have full control of their performance. Full control. There's not only so much a director can do.
I don't know.
So you can blame it on the director because there's only so much that he can do. You could be like, well, you could say, well, he could have done more. But I mean, realistically, how much better could he have done? You know what I mean?
Direct them correctly. We call it like in terms of Margot Robbie, right? We were just to kind of go back to what we were talking about. Like we were just talking about her performance and not being a blonde bimbo, whatever the fuck, right?
I didn't use the word bimbo, but yeah, sure.
Well, you know what you know what I mean. You said Barbie, so
I did say Barbie.
Yeah, we call it.
I PG-13'd it.
Well, I'm not. I just be talking, but like that. There's just a certain director and character out there for her to like portray that whole badass villain that you want or whatever, just to give her that performance and presence, like we were talking about with Palm and Dead Reckoning. Because, you know, she wasn't getting it from James Gunn and Mantis, just like, well, she does a great performance as Harley, and I'm sure she'll do great in Barbie, but we haven't seen Babylon, right? And then she was kind of decent in Wolf of Wall Street, but although like in Wolf of Wall Street, you know, if you go by her roles, she was kind of like just the wife, and then she was a damsel, you know, but she gave a decent performance in that. Kind of what got her name out there, right? Working with Scorsese and DiCaprio. But, you know, she got to shine a little bit more as Harley, depending on who you ask, in the Suicide Squad. In James Gunn's Suicide Squad. What do you call it? That is from directing and all that alone, right? I think there's going to be a director out there and a role for her.
So you think
to come down the line.
Success of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is due to the directors? So you didn't think David Ayer did a good job with Margot Robbie?
Well, I mean, until I see that haircut, probably not. They got her name on the map, but not as much as it did working with on the Wolf of Wall Street.
But because you think because Martin Scorsese and Leonardo, or because Martin Scorsese put her on the map?
Yeah.
No, I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree. But it's fine. We can agree to disagree, and we'll go ahead and move on. So, another weird little topic that we have today is that Jackie Chan is being tapped in to play Mr. Han again in a new Karate Kid movie. Now, the last time we seen him, He played Mr. Han in, I believe, the 2012 Karate Kid movie with Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Which was, honestly, top notch in my opinion. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, no, it was a decent movie. It was a decent watch.
Pick it up, yeah.
Okay.
Pick it up, yeah.
Anyway.
Pick it up, yeah. But, so, apparently, they have a new franchise, they want to revive the Karate Kid franchise, seeing the success that Ralph Macchio did for Cobra Kai. So, Ralph Macchio is going to be coming back to help write, direct, and, put this movie together. Now, at the time of that this came out, there was no synopsis of what the movie might be about, but there's a leaked rumor of a synopsis, and it goes like this. Jonathan Entwistle's Karate Kid. It says, the film will reportedly follow Lee, a skilled fighter and a student in Beijing who has his life uprooted when his mom decides that they're moving to Brooklyn for a work opportunity. Lee meets Mia, who goes to high school, and her dad, Victor, who runs a pizza restaurant in his new neighborhood in Brooklyn, and forms a bond with both. While his mom is against violence and kung fu, Lee finds purpose by training Victor in the art and finds himself back in the ring as well. So it sounds like it's going to be a swapping situation. Instead of going from America to Beijing, they're going from Beijing to America, and he has to, figure out the hard streets of Brooklyn, yeah. So he got to, and probably gonna meet somebody along the way, be friends, whatever. Lots of confusion might come up with this movie because they might say, well, if Jackie Chan's in this movie, is it connected to the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith? Did he move to Brooklyn with Jaden Smith? After the fight that happened, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot of, I don't know. It just seems very weird to bring him back.
Yeah. It's interesting how these movies are coming back, even with the Cobra Kai making a comeback too, you know what I mean? And kind of cementing this dude's character, Daniel, and all that, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of it's interesting that a lot of kung fu movies are coming out, and it's either they're tied or they're run by the people that did Cobra Kai. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the first Karate Kid movies. And yeah, you're right about the confusion thing, because now it makes me think, like, are they gonna talk about Jaden Smith's character? Is he gonna show up? Will he be a surprise cameo? You know what I mean? Like, like where do we put this one?
Jaden Smith and Han are living in Brooklyn together.
For real, like they just moved back to America or something. Like, what happened?
It's gonna be a weird thing to see because I think it's weird to have brought him back.
He was a nice Mr. Miyagi. That's who he was supposed to be, right?
Mr. Han.
Well, like, he was supposed to be Miyagi.
Yeah, basically. But I think he did a good job. I really liked him in the fight scenes in the Karate Kid. I honestly thought, because when the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith came out, I know that it did really well, that they literally fast tracked it for the sequel, but nothing ever fruitioned. So here we are, about 10 years later, trying to get Jackie Chan back.
Where's Rush Hour 4?
That's still in the works.
What the fuck?
Hey, they're old, man. What do you want?
I don't give a fuck.
What do you want?
No, I want Rush Hour 4.
They can't do what they did before.
I don't want this. I want Rush Hour 4.
I don't want Rush Hour 4 with a fat Chris Tucker. Okay, we already got a fat Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys 4. We don't need another one. And if you notice, Chris Tucker was getting bigger gradually throughout the course of the 3 movies. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
I
just want Rush Hour 4.
It sounds like a good idea, but Rush Hour is not gonna make the same kind of jokes that it did back in the day. I'll tell you that much right now. That movie's not surviving in 2023. Hell no. But a movie that is surviving and getting immense respect, a bunch of standing ovations, is Killers of the Flower Moon, with Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon getting a 9-minute standing ovation, and also praising Leonardo DiCaprio, saying this is one of his career's best performances out there.
Ooh.
This movie is supposed to be pure hype. Martin Scorsese even came out saying that this movie is not for everybody, but for those that love cinema, basically. That this one is completely different And it has to show, because at the Cannes Festival, like I said, 9-minute standing ovation. Praises for Leonardo DiCaprio. What do you think?
Oh man, this just makes me excited. I love Martin Scorsese movies. I fucking not just the classic ones, you know, like Casino, Goodfellas, whatnot, but The Irishman and you know all the other ones. Like, oh, I cannot wait to see this one for real.
I say he missed with The Irishman, but that's just my opinion. That's just me. Maybe it's just too CGI for me. I think the de-aging of De Niro and Pesci was, even though I liked them, I think the de-aging was really like very ballsy of him to do, I'd say. But we do have a trailer for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes.
And we got another trailer coming up right after that. So this one's going to be on Apple TV.
No.
So
don't make me pay for that goddamn subscription.
1 month for free?
Fuck.
When the movie comes out?
When does it come out?
October 6th.
That is a long time from now.
Yeah. Don't use your free trial just yet. You're gonna have to hold it. So let's dig into the trailer. It's only 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Okay.
The Osage took their name from Missouri and Osage rivers. Niukanska, children of the Middle Waters. Move, said the great white father.
Robert De Niro.
There are many, so many hungry wolves. Can you find the wolves in this picture? Can you find the wolves
Right here.
in this picture?
That movie's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a
That
good
looks
movie.
really good.
It's gonna be a good movie.
It's gonna be in theaters too.
It is
Yes.
very good. So we don't need Apple TV. But yeah, it looks really good. Leonardo DiCaprio's. Oh, look, the Tom Holland one is called The Crowded Room.
Oh, there you go.
Very good trailer.
That looked really fucking good.
Still don't know what it's about. I mean, 3.5 hour movie. I mean, what's a 1 minute and a half?
Yeah,
Trailer?
This is the first teaser trailer.
Yeah, for a teaser trailer, that wasn't too bad. It
Yeah, it was
actually
really
got
good.
me.
Yeah.
I like the ending right there where they showed everybody just like picking their heads up to look at you. And it's like, oh, can you spot the wolf? I was like,
It's all of them. No, it's clearly metaphor for all of them.
I'm assuming it's Brendan Fraser. I think he's the guy.
Leave that man alone. Oh man, that looks so good. I can't wait.
Yeah.
October needs to hurry up.
Cinema. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that one, but it does look good. If you guys want to see the trailer, it's right there on YouTube. So go check it out. It looks phenomenal. It looks actually fantastic. And the last trailer of the day, we got a new trailer for The Haunted Mansion. Now we did react to the teaser trailer. This one's gonna show more footage from what I hear.
More Jared Leto.
We'll have to wait and see. We don't even know if how prominent his role is.
Yeah,
so.
no, I was joking. I haven't seen. I didn't even know this trailer existed.
Okay, well let's jump right in.
Okay.
Wait! I should warn you, before you step inside the house, this could change the course of your entire life.
I'm not afraid of a couple ghosts.
You say that now.
This mansion is unhinged.
These ghosts definitely don't want to leave.
Death lurks around every corner. God, give us a break. There's so many bad people in the world. Haunt them.
Amen.
I do like surprises.
Is anybody else seeing this?
I hope you do too.
We're gonna fight, whether we like it or not.
Or else we're stuck here for eternity.
If this comes down to an exorcism, we're in big trouble.
This house is dripping with souls, but there's always room for one more.
My friend was mugged.
He was tall. He had hair that was sticking out of a top hat.
Top hat.
Yes. He had,
So
nice.
a top hat.
You would pull a rabbit out of it, probably.
Eyes.
They were a bit sunken.
Deep sunken eyes.
Like a raccoon.
Beady
they
eyes.
set back. And he was smiling like like that.
This kind of thing.
Exactly.
Is this the man who mugged you?
Wow. You just did that just now?
That's really good. Oh man. Okay, so this one, it looks good. I just think it's trying to do too much. Now, if you guys seen the older Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, that one was more how do you say, more grounded, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I think it tried to rely more on scares and you know, comedy than spectacle, and you know, trying to outdo what it looked like. It looked like it was trying to outdo the next summer blockbuster, but you know, I was assuming that this was going to be a horror movie, or like Disney a horror movie with the Disneyfication of
I
it.
swear to fuck. Disneyfication. There you go. But what do you call it? Yeah, no. The trailer, the teaser made it look like really good, but yeah, I see what you mean. It does look like they're trying to do more, which is like I guess it's fine. For me, it's fine. I'm not opposed to that. I do like, you know, the different colors. It looked very colorful. The ghosts looked really nice. My thing is like, yeah, a lot of it is you didn't really see. Maybe it's because the other one came out in what, like 2004?
Yeah.
Like budgeting issue, you know what I mean? Now they can just pull out all the stops, you know, really Disneyficate the fucking movie. I don't knock it. It still looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I think the cast is solid 100%. I just think I guess what I was expecting, having watched the first one and it being really like memorable in my mind, like more grounded. When they first announced it, I thought it was going to be like that spooky house, you know, you're going to see ghosts, more realistic ghosts than obviously the first one, even though they didn't do a bad job with the first one. But a more, you know, more realistic, a little bit more scary, you know, a little stuff like that. But
yeah.
This one does look more like a spectacle, and I'm here for it. I mean, it looks like it might be a trip in theaters, you know, like with the room spinning and everything like that. So I'm with it. Not what I was expecting, but I am with it. It does look like it does pique my interest, I guess you could say, especially with Danny DeVito coming back too.
Very good stuff.
I like seeing him. That ending scene with both of them, that was actually pretty funny. So, yeah. What? Are you excited?
Yeah, it looks really good.
When does this one come out? Are we gonna have to?
Isn't it in October 1 too?
Oh no, it's in July 28th.
What the hell?
A horror movie in July?
I guess that makes sense. We got a scary movie. We had Scream in February.
That's true too. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But hey, if you guys like this episode, if you guys thought that we should have talked about something but we didn't, honestly, we had maybe we were gonna talk about it, but our little conversation kind of went on a little bit longer. But let us know if you guys enjoyed it, if you guys agree with us, if you guys don't agree with us. Does the director make a good actor, or does an actor make a good actor? Let us know. We want to hear your guys' thoughts. any movies that you guys want us to review, anything you guys want us to react to. You want to support us in a big way, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post when new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for all the engagement. Like he said, anything you want us to cover, go ahead and hit us up there. If you want to listen to us on the go, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts, we're on a couple more platforms in case you missed it. At FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us, Buzzsprout, you can subscribe there. All the links are in our bios. Just again, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And then when it's all said and done, subscribe to our YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
Yeah. And with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.